What is going on, everybody? Taylor and Jacob here. We are very excited to wrap up our wild card round of the bracket today.
Yes.
It's going to be fun, man. We had so much fun last week. I hope that you guys did as well. Do we want to just jump into this? Get our guests in here?
Let's just bring all of our guests in. I'm going to bring them one at a time. Miss Marisol McKee, how are you?
Feeling fabulous. Feeling great. I'm ready for round two.
All right. As we bring our guests in, I would like to point out what fashion do you got going on today, Marisol? It looks like you're prepared there.
I always have to wear something for the occasion, of course. Tonight I got some Potter pals going on tonight. There's a bunch of them there. Yeah.
Fantastic.
There's a bunch of buddies. My favorite is this little Dobby.
Cute.
I'm assuming it's Dobby. I hope it's not Creature, because this shirt would get worse if it were. But yeah.
All right. We are also joined by Mara Canopic. How are you?
The resident moisture farmer has arrived. Word of the day is viscosity.
This is gonna be so much fun. I'm so looking forward to this. All right, Adam Collins, how are you?
It's gonna be so moist. We're gonna be able to pick mushrooms off of the evaporators. All right, but check this out. Check out the back of my shirt. It's more than meets the eye. It's cool.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. But on the front, of course, it's just Star Wars.
I love it. Everyone's come prepared today.
All righty. And we are also joined by the lovely Jackals, Jesse and Lauren. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Show it off. Who you got?
This is to make sure that Mara stays moist. We've got Ben Barnes here.
I have WandaVision on the front here, and on the back, disappointment. I think, right?
Nothing.
Yeah, disappointment.
I should have gone online and tried to find a Christian Coulson shirt.
Hashtag Hot Voldemort time. Let's go, people.
Would Adam's shirt be considered like a mullet shirt, like business in the front and then party in the back?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, awesome, Adam. I'm proud of you.
I mean, you've got a Schmodown shirt going on. I've got my Ray shirt going on. So we're good to go. We're ready to jump into this.
Let's start the painful elimination of movies.
We'll see.
Where are we starting?
We are starting with a pretty big one.
All right.
Batman Returns versus Indiana Jones and the Temple
We're getting right into it
Doom.
today.
I am going to start with Miss Marisol McKee. Where are you going?
Oh, hey. This one is straightforward for me. For me, the Jones franchise has two terrific ones and two that I'm not super crazy about. I'm not as crazy about, still decent, but two step downs for me. And I'm in a rare camp where Temple of Doom has too many things working against it for me, mainly Willie and Short Round. Willie's one of the most insufferable characters I've ever seen in a film. So none of that, all of that holds it. That's going to automatically knock it beneath Batman Returns for me, which I am also in the rare camp where I actually enjoyed it just slightly more than the original Batman. I'm the crazy person here tonight. I'm full of contrarian opinions.
We'll have some more.
But this is pretty cut and dry for me. I'm definitely going Batman Returns.
All right. Jesse Swift, where are you heading?
All right. I had to think for a couple minutes or a couple seconds. I guess it hasn't even been a couple minutes yet because Marisol was sweet and to the point. But she did bring up a really great point with Willie, and that made me do a side-by-side comparison with our female leads. You have Willie, and then you have Selena Kyle. And that alone, I think, tips the scale in Batman Returns' favor. I think both of these are not huge step downs, but slight step downs from the originals. I love Batman 89. It's one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. But Batman Returns is still a really good time. I think the supporting characters far and away excel in Batman Returns, and that's going to be my pick.
Okay. Adam, where are you heading?
So, The Temple of Doom is a really fun movie that I think is occasionally a little unfairly maligned because it's an easy target because of the reasons stated by Jesse and Marisol that I do agree with. I just think the movie's better than people give it credit for. It's a fun movie to watch. It's a solid Indiana Jones adventure. It's just ranked 3 out of the original 3, and that's not terrible. That said, I have more passion for Batman as a character personally. So when the movies nail what I love most about the mythology surrounding Batman, I glom onto those movies. And Batman Returns is a movie I saw right when it came out. I watched it repeatedly. I think it's aged in a very interesting way. It leads to a lot of fascinating conversations. And you'll forgive me for the random aside, but just a fun fact, Sean Connery and Kate Capshaw played husband and wife in a mid-90s thriller called Just Cause, where Scarlett Johansson's their daughter. And in that movie, Sean, I just have to, Marisol and Jacob know where I'm going with this, because we've talked about it in Corruption. In that movie, he's talking to a coroner about whether or not, and you'll forgive me for getting graphic here, he says, "Have you found any semen?" But he says it like Sean Connery. Okay. And I think we could all do the impression. But yeah.
Why don't you do the impression?
Yeah, you brought it up.
Have you found any semen?
Oh, that was pretty good.
So he says that he says that word 3 or 4 times in the film, and I felt like the script writers, like, we got Sean Connery and I got gold here. Like, this movie's already bad. I just gotta have him say this as many times as possible. But it's just a funny coincidence that Willie is his wife in that movie. So Indiana Jones fans, if you're ever really jonesing for the cast members in an inferior film, go check out Just Cause. But my vote is Batman Returns.
All right. We are 3-0 for Batman Returns. I was not expecting that. Lauren, where are we heading?
I was trying to figure out if I was going to start out chaotic. I don't think so yet. I'll save it for later. Batman has been my favorite superhero since I was little. One of my very first birthday presents was a Batman cape. And so it's a little unfair for me. But I think everybody's points so far have been really great. Like, the side characters are so much better. Are we echoing?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm trying to figure that out. Go ahead, babe.
Okay. Michelle Pfeiffer is my favorite Catwoman, and she always will be. So
she climbed a very low bar.
Yeah, it's not a high bar. But she is the bar. So I'm going to say Batman Returns.
All right. Mara, where are you heading with this one?
I got to admit, talk about a movie after my own heart, like literally ripping it out of my chest, which is such a fond, like, happy memory from childhood, which that's just as bad as it sounds. But Michelle Pfeiffer put a bird in her face. She had a live bird inside her face. How is it not Batman Returns? For all the reasons everyone else said and articulated so well, I'm going to go with she put a bird in her face.
Taylor.
So this one's pretty easy for me. I have a lot of fun with Temple of Doom, but Indiana Jones, as I said on the last episode, is not really in my top echelon of things. I mean, you've got a very, very attractive Harrison Ford, but that's like really all I can put.
He is shirtless for majority of the movie.
I know. But
he probably looks his best in the whole series in Temple of Doom. I will give him that.
Yes.
The best he looks on screen in general.
Yes.
Like,
he's younger because it was a prequel.
Sweat and grime never looks so good.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
One
The dirtier
sleeve, yeah,
his
they knew what they were
shirt
doing.
gets, the better he looks.
All of these points are valid. However, when you give me Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman and you put it in the Tim Burton Batman world with the way he does the world building, the aesthetics of Gotham City, just the way that it's all set up. Yes. Yes. Okay. Like it's hard because you're like, yes, Harrison Ford, the best he's ever looked. Wow. Okay. Moisture. Yes. But Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman in Tim Burton Batman world. It has to be. It has to be Batman Returns.
So it's Michelle Pfeiffer for all of us.
I think so.
Yeah.
I was actually talking about the Penguin's booty myself, but he's got quite.
Ladies and gentlemen, Batman Returns makes it through, and Temple of Doom has been eliminated. All right, we move on to our next one. Avengers Infinity War versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 1990 film. Mara, I am going to break your heart first. Where would you like to go?
I mean, I could act like it's a tough choice, but sadly it's not. It has to be Avengers Infinity War. I mean, I cherish that movie so much from my childhood. Those 4 adorable looking squishy turtle costumes and all of the things that came with it, especially like my love for pizza. But it was like an almost impossible task. And though it's hard for me to actually separate Infinity War and Endgame, I will do so because that is what the medium calls for. But so many plot threads going on simultaneously, over 40 primary cast members with their own arcs and things going on, done so well. Every single time a character shows up in Infinity War, it is like a mic drop applause break for the audience. Like, it's just so well done, and it could have just been a total shit show between Infinity War and Endgame, and I think that it was almost an impossible feat of creativity from a writing standpoint, and I think it was executed well in all of the other aspects. So it's a sad choice, but an easy choice.
All right. Lauren, I'm going to head to you.
What's funny is Jesse and I, after last week, were talking about Infinity War versus Endgame, and if it came down between the two, which we would pick, which led to a long discussion of us going, well, Infinity War has this, but Endgame has this. It went on for a while. Unfortunately, it's not a close call. Infinity War has so many like special moments as a fan where you have been growing up with this story and you have grown so attached to these characters. And so seeing them kind of at like some of their very peak moments, you can't really top that. Like Thor showing up in Wakanda, there's no really turtle equivalent of that, unfortunately. Not yet. It has to be Infinity War.
I want a very well-produced Turtleverse.
A Turtleverse.
Well, Jesse, where are you going?
Well, they say wise men say forgiveness is divine, but never pick turtles over a Marvel film. So I'm going to stick with Avengers Infinity War.
Is that how the quote goes?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Something like that.
Adam, where are you heading?
I'll keep it brief since you let me do the Sean Connery thing. Short answers Infinity War, but I do have an affinity for the original Ninja Turtles film. Quite fond of it, but it is wrapped in nostalgia, bubble wrap, admittedly, and it's not enough to withstand the impact and undeniable quality of Infinity War, which is a film that I ultimately will probably rewatch more. But the original Ninja Turtles is very special. So there you have it.
It's special.
All right, and Marisol, where are you heading with this one?
Yeah, I am removed from the nostalgia, this nostalgia angle. I don't have that chip in me for Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I actually saw it for the first time after I saw Infinity War for the first time. So I just was kind of just assessing them both as what they had to offer as films, and. Yeah, for everything that you guys have said, especially Mara, with like the Infinity War, just impresses on so many levels. What, especially when we see, especially in these franchises, where we see like a part 1 and a part 2, how part 1s have so become like placeholders in these kind of franchises, and people are like, all right, but let's just get to part 2. Infinity War has some of the best gravitas and stakes and drama of the entire MCU, where you feel it and everything is a mic drop. Like all these characters really do get their moments, and you feel the stakes more in a series that has played it so lighthearted, or not so lighthearted, but where you didn't necessarily feel the stakes. They just dropped like a hammer, and pardon the pun, in this film. And that really is really tough to top when you're comparing it with like, oh, but I really loved this and I have a fondness in my heart for this. But when you're kind of stacking them side by side as their impact in the film and their technical achievements, it's really difficult not to pick Infinity War.
Oh, right. And Taylor.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat where I don't really have nostalgia for TMNT like a lot of other people do. As I said on the last episode, I do really appreciate what the film had to offer. I really enjoyed a lot of aspects of it, but it just doesn't have that kind of impact on me that it has on a lot of other people. Whereas Infinity War is the culmination, part one of the culmination of something so impactful to me because, you know, I started my relationship with watching all these MCU films with some special memories. Like my stepdad and I would go to every single movie together, and it was always just such a thing that we always got so excited for to see where they were going to go next, what characters we were going to get, what moments we were going to get. And then this movie just felt like such a huge payoff to everyone who had been around the whole time. So I have to pick Infinity War.
And with that, Infinity War makes it through. We are heading to our next matchup, though.
So close.
We have Daredevil versus Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Taylor, I'm going to start with
Spicy.
Great. Okay, so this one's interesting for me because I don't necessarily like either one of these movies very much. I think Star Trek: The Motion Picture has more to offer on the level of competent filmmaking. And that's about where I'm at with this. Daredevil's fun and it's edgy and it has its moments. Star Trek: The Motion Picture, I think, is visually interesting to me, but that's about as far as it goes. I don't know, man. If we just went both of these can just leave, I would be like, all right, I'm not missing out on much. If I had to pick one, and the way I'm going to do this is because I don't really have strong feelings either way. The way I'm going to pick this is if I had to pick one to put on right now, just to watch, and I was like, you know what? All right, I could put this on to watch it. I'm going to pick Daredevil because it's kind of ridiculous, and I feel like I'd be more entertained by putting it on. So I'm going to pick Daredevil.
All right. Jesse, where are you heading?
Well, for these reasons, if none other, you got Evanescence, Seether, and Finger 11 in a Marvel film, and a very competent
Language, Jesse.
a very competent Matt Murdock, I think. Jon Favreau's true Marvel debut, which I think I've brought up before. Star Trek: The Motion Picture is, there's that saying out there that's like every odd-numbered Star Trek movie is one of the weaker ones. And Daredevil's not the worst Marvel film that's ever been made. So it's got that going for it. So I think this is a little bit of the winners of the losers matchup. And kind of like what Taylor said, I would rather watch Daredevil, I think, because it would keep me awake and invested. And Colin Farrell is a treasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Not the worst is the bar that we're at. All right, Mara, are you going to raise that bar a little, or where are we at?
So it's tough. I thought I was going to go one way with this, and then I changed my mind, and then I changed my mind again. So I really hate the bloated nature of Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I get why they did space porn. It was like their first movie, and they had all these cool special effects and stuff. It's like, look at the ship; it goes through space. Look, it's so pretty. Like that's
still
great.
Going
you could
through space.
legitimately cut out like 32 minutes of the movie if you just cut out all the space stuff. And Daredevil is a lot more rewatchable in the sense that, like, when it's on, it's like, so it's relatively inoffensive. It's not so bad that I hate it, and it's not good enough for me to like concentrate on it. But I think that perhaps it is my nostalgia talking, and I'm okay with it. I love watching the original series characters be those characters. And I would rather sit through space porn than just kind of wait around for Daredevil to finish. So I'm actually going to vote for Star Trek the Motion Picture.
All right. Marisol, I'm going to go to you. Where are you heading?
Okay. I like that. Mara almost swayed me with that. I do like that. I still am going to stick with Daredevil. I still am going to stick with it. Not by much, really not by much. But I am going to stick with it for, lean towards the reasons that people were saying before. Faster pace. It does trek into like there's more hits. There's a faster series of things to make fun of, I guess, in that. There's more to just keep it spinning, keep it like before you know it moves on to something else that you could just laugh at. I'm like, yeah, isn't this ridiculous? And you don't quite have those hits those hits per minute in the motion picture. I would watch the motion picture again and just kind of anytime I watch it again, I'll just probably appreciate it just an inch more. And Daredevil, every time I watch it again, I'll be like, yep, this is ridiculous. And I'm enjoying it. So for that reason alone, I'll probably lean with Daredevil.
All right. Adam, where are you heading?
What can I say? I'm a V'ger stan. Everyone gets that reference?
Yes.
Star Trek motion picture, people. Okay.
Which Voyager was it, though, Adam?
Okay, you put me on the spot, and Christian told me he'd find me if I answered any more trivia questions this week on the non-Schmodown shows. Because I did 2 of those Video Chronic quizzes, and I feel like drones outside my house.
He feels like every MCU actor ever.
Yeah. I've been jonesing for a match so much. I'm like, yeah, give me Inglourious Bastards and Congo. I don't care. So anyway, Star Trek the Motion Picture, I said it last week. I enjoy this movie more than most people. And yeah, it is space porn, but so is one of my favorite movies of all time, 2001 Space Odyssey, the ultimate space indulgence. And I will say that the motion picture, it has cinematography, it has the score, but my favorite Star Trek movies are 1 through 6, all 6 of them, including Final Frontier. I like watching all of them because of the original characters, like Mara said. And Daredevil, I don't despise that movie compared to that era of Marvel, but it's a very superficial movie to me. I don't engage with it much, especially since the Charlie Cox series came out. And Star Trek the Motion Picture, whenever I go back and rewatch the original films, I like kicking it off with that because that was really just getting them all in the same room again. And then Wrath of Khan ran with it. And that's why I think they're a fun double feature.
All right. Lauren, are you going to end this or tie us up? Where are you heading?
Unfortunately, I'm going to break my dad's heart. I feel really unrefined picking Daredevil, but I know I said it last week. It's the seesaw scene for me. And the ridiculous scene in the rain. You know the one. Daredevil is just more fun for me, and my ADD brain was like, "I like fun. Is it good? No, but is it fun? Yes." I would much rather put Daredevil on and wait for my 2 favorite scenes than watch Star Trek. I'm so sorry, Dad. Please don't disown me.
And as Ben Goddard says in the chat, Daredevil vs. Star Trek, which movie is hornier?
Daredevil.
Outright, surface level, Daredevil. Subliminally, Star Trek.
Yeah.
If you ask what movie the characters would suddenly break out into an orgy, absolutely the motion picture.
Yes. 100% yes.
Plus, yes. V'ger and Reverend Camden had a lot of steam.
Motion in the motion picture.
Also,
there's so much like repressed homosexuality in that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And with that, it is unfortunately Star Trek. Unfortunately, has been eliminated.
The subliminally hornier movie has been eliminated.
Oh, hey, trust me, I'm not mad about that. It was by a hair.
Yeah. All right. We are moving on to
Fought a good fight.
Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets versus Doctor Strange. Lauren, I'm going to start with you.
Oh no! Oh no! No! This household is going to be divided.
This is our Civil War.
This is what the show is about. Let's
Team,
go.
are you thinking? Are you Team Lauren or Team Jesse?
It's, can we get the hashtags going? Oh, no.
This is our Civil War, baby. Remember how much we love each other.
I love you so much.
Great. It's
For now.
It's Harry Potter. If nothing else, for young Hermione, just everything about her. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, baby. I love you. But right now, I love Harry more.
Interesting.
We're hurting people.
We're hurting people. This is the point, guys. This is the show. All right, Jesse.
Why don't you make it really twisting? Why don't you just wait all the way around so I can simmer on it, so I can just like sit here and stew? You want to show? Let's go.
All right, Marisol, where are you heading?
This one's actually, this one hurts more. It's, the one before I was just like, oh, well, they've been like, oh, which one do I not enjoy a little less or something like that. But like this one is genuinely difficult for me. This is one
on Marisol.
This is, forget what shirt I'm wearing. This is one of the, I think we'll all agree, one of the lower ranked Harry Potter films, but still absolutely very solid, very good Potter. Versus, for me at least, I know everybody's got their favorite MCUs. I get it, but for me, one of my personal more favorite MCU films. So this is actually, but Harry Potter is, I'm such a stan for Harry Potter that this is, it's so ingrained in me. It's a lifelong favorite that this is actually genuinely difficult for me for that specific reason. So I'm trying to be objective. I'm trying to be objective, but Doctor Strange is so spectacular. And I think it set up its world so well. And I still think that the Columbus movies don't get enough credit for being something that the fans all loved, which is a page to screen faithful adaptation of the books. Which is something that the fans then would complain about in the later films. Like, oh, you cut this, you cut that. You switched this, you went through this cut in there, you went through the shortcut in the screenplay just to make it work. Like, the first two films are everything they could possibly put from the books into the film. They didn't miss a beat. Very, 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 very few things they missed. Most of them are in the deleted scenes anyway. So I actually have to go back to, I can't betray my Potter fan roots. I have to actually go with my heart with this and stick with Chamber of Secrets.
Wow.
It was really for very, very different reasons, but when I average it out, I love Harry Potter too much, and this movie means too much to me personally, and I still really love this world. I'm so invested in this world, and I still think Chamber of Secrets is a really great film. And it hits the nail on the head for true Potter fans. So I'm going to go with Chamber of Secrets.
I have one so far on my team.
Adam, where are you heading with this one?
Now, Marisol, if it had been Doctor Strange and Crimes of Grindelwald, would that have been a little easier for you?
Sorry, Grindelwald.
Okay. I know it's not fair to bring up.
I maybe would have had an argument to pick Son of Mask over Crimes of Grindelwald. Okay, like I hate Crimes of Grindelwald. So
I'm sure it's coming up on this. It's gonna. I will.
It's not coming up at some point.
It's going to rear its head. Yeah,
I will not be kind to it.
So yeah, Chamber of Secrets. Last week I vouched for it getting through to this round because those first two movies did establish the world really well. And then Prisoner of Azkaban is what I think opened it up in a really interesting way. Doctor Strange is a character I've been waiting to see on screen for a very long time. Like Jesse, I grew up loving the 90s Spider-Man TV show, and whenever Doctor Strange would show up on that, I would get really excited. That was my introduction to Doctor Strange, and then I started paying attention to him in the comics a lot more. And when the Marvel Universe really started to gain its footing cinematically, I knew Doctor Strange would eventually get worked into it, but magic is just such a complicated concept. Like, how do you introduce it and make it interesting and believable and not completely silly? And that's why I think Doctor Strange is a successful movie. I think it stands alone really well. I know it's got like the Thor scene, but like other than that, I think it really stands separately very well from a lot of the other Marvel movies, and not every Marvel movie can say that. I think people oversimplify Doctor Strange's character by saying, "Oh, he's another Tony Stark," because you could say that about the comic books. Stephen Strange is a very different character. They butt heads for a reason in Infinity War, and that's why those scenes are so great. But they're both Type A, but they're different people, and I think Benedict nailed that in the role. And I just like the vibe of this movie. So Doctor Strange is my vote. I'm sure Potter's going to get plenty of representation, but my vote for Doctor Strange isn't for the MCU at large. It's for this specific film.
All right. Mara, I'm going to go to you.
Oh, we don't want to hear what Jesse's going to say?
I'm leaving him to last so that he can either ruin his relationship or sleep on a couch for a month.
I'm ready whenever.
Because if it's tied up 3-3, he's got a choice.
Oh, that's true. I see what you're doing here. Okay.
Wait, no, go back. Stop.
So anyway, since it is my turn and we've all decided this, it's tougher than it looks, because I agree wholeheartedly with what Marisol mentioned. I think it is a fantastic page to screen adaptation, probably almost the most true one. And again, hot Voldemort. Also, by the way, Kenneth Branagh, just if you haven't seen him as Hamlet and you would like to ruin pants, that's what you watch. So, but I gotta say though, even with all of that, it's a rich world, and they had to develop it so much in that movie to set us up for what would be a more serious story in the next one. I also have to look at Doctor Strange and what its characteristics are, what the things are that I love about it that I don't get elsewhere. I love so much the anticlimax of its end. I absolutely love subverting the expectation of the big CGI fight scene and the sky beams and the whatevers that just kind of plague lesser superhero movies. And brains over brawn is just so wonderful. Hot young Voldemort and Hamlet versus pasty pale English person who cannot speak with an American accent to save his darn life. But the special effects in that movie are mind-blowing. It's so immersive. I agree with Adam. I love that it's insulated and it's singular, but I do love that they created a plot element like using the Eye of Agamotto and introducing it only at the very end as an Infinity Stone. And I love all that connective tissue. And despite his poor accent work and my love for Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, I'm also going to pick Doctor Strange.
No.
Interesting.
I've had Schmodown matches less stressful than this. If anyone saw this week, that's saying something.
Where are you going, Taylor?
Okay. Come on, Taylor.
All right.
No helping.
So here's the thing, guys. All right. Harry Potter is a huge, huge part of my childhood. I was exactly the right age when the movies came out. Like, I got the books read to me by my parents when I wasn't old enough to quite get through them myself. Doctor Strange was so exciting for me, though, as like a introduction to the MCU, because we've kind of talked about how it was such a big part of bringing magic, the magic that we're getting now into the MCU. They did a great job with the effects. The story's great. But I also look at it and go, you had Rachel McAdams and Chiwetel Ejiofor, and what did you do with them? Why? Why didn't we get the things from those characters that I was really hoping for. I'm still hoping we get those things. I'm giving them a chance to kind of still go there at some point. But it's so tough because this one really is, like everyone's saying, is like it's so hard for me because it brought something new to the MCU, stands really well on its own, and just it does so much overall for the MCU, but it does so much on its own as a standalone film. Like, but then it's changed. Guys. This hurts my soul so much. Oh my god.
Taylor, hug one of your backpacks.
Come on, depending on what you pick, you make Jesse decide all of this.
I know.
And that's fun.
I know. Even without that on the table. Yeah. Like when I first saw this, I went, damn it, this hurts me for, like, I'm in pain for a lot of different reasons. But I have to go with what my heart, like, immediately went for. And that's Chamber of Secrets.
You're going to make me do this. Okay. I was really hoping you wouldn't make me do it. Hey, Jesse, there's going to be 2 of us sleeping on couches tonight.
Excellent.
It's fairly well established that Chamber of Secrets is my least favorite of the Harry Potter franchise. I think the straight book to screen adaptation hurts the film more than helps it. I think that it needed an editor and it doesn't have that. It's 2.5 hours long. It's one of the longest Harry Potter films.
Hold on, I just want to say, you're doing this and then you're going to be like, okay, I'm doing this, but Jesse, you're the one that gets
yeah. Jesse's the one who's going to actually do this, but I am tying it up. Doctor Strange is getting my vote because Doctor Strange gave me something I'd never seen before. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets gave me Philosopher's Stone 2. And if this was Azkaban versus Doctor Strange, I'm sorry, Azkaban's going through. If it was probably any other except if it was probably any of the other ones except actually, if it was any of the other ones, it would go through. It's just Doctor Strange is something new, except it's something new. It's something we'd never seen before. So sorry, Jesse, it's up to you.
So do you want to kiss me one last time?
Hang on, 1, 2.
One last one.
Does that mean murder him in his sleep tonight, or what does that mean?
Okay. I want to add on to what Taylor said on the list of what did you do with Scott Adkins, martial arts phenomenon, was in that film. What did you do with him? So points against Doctor Strange there. I love Harry Potter. I read the majority of the books, so that doesn't give me a lot of points because I didn't get through all the way through it, but I read a lot of them. I've watched the series start to finish multiple times. I feel a little bit in the way that Jacob does, is that not as strongly, though. I don't think Chamber of Secrets is the weakest. It's one of my favorites, to be honest. But I also feel like standing up for the little guy, not that Marvel's the little guy, but Harry Potter has, 8, 9 more entries that are going to come across in our escapades of challenging movie to movies. There's one Doctor Strange. He gets one shot. This is it. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters in and outside of comics. I love you so much. I also love the hoary hosts of Hogarth, the Eye of Agamotto, and the vaulting boots, and all that good stuff. So we also forgot to mention that at the end of the movie, not only is the anticlimax really good, but there's the whole rewind thing that happened before Tenet. So not only did he Inception better than Christopher Nolan, he also Teneted better than Nolan. So there's those marks that have to be stated before I can make a decision. And Chamber of Secrets with the Bassels, I love the CGI and the practical effects, which was really impressive. We hadn't seen that a lot.
45 minutes later.
And it's Doctor Strange.
Lauren. Lauren and I are gonna start our own therapy chat session together of like what, why.
Wait,
yeah,
hey,
Men.
What does Dan think? What would Dan pick?
Oh, I can tell you right now, he would pick Doctor Strange. That is his least favorite Harry Potter film against one of his higher ranked MCU films. Easy choice. Would you like for me to get him?
Maybe. I want to say that there's Harry Potter movies that would beat Doctor Strange. It's just not Chamber of Secrets. So we'll see if he comes against Harry again down the line and see what happens.
I mean, I don't know if you want to put that into the universe and hope for that, because that might not be good.
All right, I'm gonna accept that as I'm gonna accept that as an official answer. And Doctor Strange makes it through, beating out Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Still love you?
Yeah.
I won't lose sleep. I won't lose sleep over them. They're both good movies. They're both really good movies.
Yeah, this was
we move
tough,
on
okay?
to oh yay! We move on to the one that's going to make me sleep on the couch. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King versus Star Wars: The Phantom Menace.
What?
Adam, I'm going to start with you.
So Lord of the Rings and Star Wars are two of my most beloved franchises, and it extends beyond the critically acclaimed, acceptable stuff. I like the Hobbit trilogy. I like rewatching it. I like the Star Wars prequels. I like watching all the Star Wars movies. And honestly, one way I got addicted to trivia is because Lord of the Rings and Star Wars both put out Trivial Pursuit board games in the 2000s with a DVD where you could play scenes where you had to like answer questions within a certain amount of time. Well, it was before Seen It. Oh, okay. And that's why it was specifically the Trivial Pursuit versions of these games. So those were a lot of fun. Phantom Menace, we put it through the next round, on good faith because we were pointing out all the things it does right, but there's so much that is stilted and not the greatest. And Return of the King is an end cap to what I consider to be a cinematic masterpiece of movies, as a whole. So Return of the King is my vote. Star Wars will come back in this. I'm not worried about it, but it's not much of a contest, even though I love both franchises dearly. Return of the King over the Phantom Menace.
All right, Jesse, where are you heading with this one?
If I remember correctly, I don't believe it was a landslide when Phantom Menace made it through.
It beat out Constantine last week.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mixed bag, I think. And I think that we all knew that Phantom Menace wasn't going to make it through the long haul. I wanted to give it its due respect and hope that it, made it through because it's enjoyable, at least to the next round, which it did. Not a chance in hell. It's Return of the King by far and away. This is one of those ones, no offense to Ninja Turtles, but kind of like when Ninja Turtles came up against Infinity War, I felt a little guilty, felt a little bad for it. And I think that's kind of the case here. Like, I think whether you are a Middle-earth fan or not, you got to look at the acclaim, the awards, the acting, the entertainment, the epic. You got to throw the extended editions in there. And just, it's so rich and beautiful and action-packed, and it makes you cry. And it's got... If you haven't read the books, it's got an ending that kind of surprises you. I didn't expect Frodo to lose his finger. That was very upsetting when I was younger. So with all those things put together, I will pick Frodo losing his finger over Darth Maul getting cut in half.
Finger beef legs.
All right, any Rankin Bass fans in here? Mara, are you going to back me up on this? Frodo of the Nine Fingers and the Ring of Doom?
I'm honestly so excited because I never thought I'd hear you say that. I'm so impressed right now, and I think I might have to see about if a trade can happen. I feel like I'm being drawn to the dark side.
Okay. Because I want the Rankin Bass Middle-earth movies to be an IG. I don't care that they weren't theatrically released. They should be an IG alongside the Bakshi film.
Yeah.
See, now I really want to pull for the BBC Chronicles of Narnia to be put in there too. Because it's way better.
Yeah, PJ is ripping his hair out. So, but yeah.
And every other IG competitor is as well.
Jesse, have you seen the animated Return of the King?
This is beautiful.
Yeah, so I've seen the Bakshi one many more times because my grandma owned it, and for whatever reason, she had nothing I was interested in other than that movie. So I would watch it, and then at the time,
and Hocus Pocus, right?
And well, we had Hocus Pocus.
Oh, okay.
But when the Lord of the Rings came out, my mom thought it was too adult, and she wouldn't let me watch it. So I just kept watching the animated one. And then the Return of the King I found at the library. So I watched it once or twice whenever.
Good place to find it. Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun, and that song is so catchy. And where there's a whip, there's a way. All the songs in Return of the King are. Yeah, we could do a whole. I'm sorry. I'll shut up now.
Mara, where are you going with this?
I want to hear where you're going now.
Well, no, I love those animated movies. I love the weird, clunky, unofficial trilogy of The Hobbit, The Bakshi, Lord of the Rings, and then the Rankin Bass Return of the King. It's so awkward and weird, and all of them together just point out how strange the source material is, and then Peter Jackson made it look so cool. And like normal in a way, like it's like yeah, orcs, right, and these old animated movies, you realize how strange it all is, and like the Balrog in the Bakshi movie is a lion. A lion with wings. It makes no sense.
It's like a griffin on fire.
Yeah.
All right, Mara, where are you heading with this one?
So the minute I first read it, I was like, okay, it's really, really obvious. And I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, it still is. I cherish Phantom Menace. I'm a defender of the fact that it's worth talking about trade boycotts and Senate hearings to get to Duel of the Fates, one of the most beautiful pieces of movie cinema magic musical stuff ever written, combined with one of the awesome lightsaber fights ever. But even that being a really high is still lower than the lowest low of Return of the King for me. So everyone else has said so many great things about it. I'm just gonna throw my vote over to Middle Earth.
Marisol.
Yep. No brainer. I'll keep it short and sweet. Not because I'm not a fan of Phantom Menace. You know, decent with all the iconic moments that are still quite memorable. And I'll rewatch Phantom Menace. I will watch and enjoy Phantom Menace. Return of the Kings, 11 Oscars, once in a lifetime film from a once in a lifetime production trilogy. No brainer.
Oh, Adam, you missed it. She voted for Phantom Menace.
Oh my God. All right.
Wild card, bitches.
You'll have to forgive me. I just wanted just commit this to memory.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's a used Hollywood video copy because I could not find it anywhere.
Wow.
I didn't know anybody else knew about Hollywood Video. That was my choice.
I used to work there. Once upon a time, I was an assistant manager at Hollywood Video. I know. What are the odds? Yeah.
Only an assistant manager, though?
Were you the one that told my mom?
Yeah, they went out of business before I could get promoted, Mara. I know.
Yeah, that was Adam. I believe that was Adam in my heart.
All right, Lauren, I'm going to let you have the second last pick.
Oh gosh, I mean, what can I say that hasn't already been said? This isn't saying a lot because I do it all the time anyways, but Return of the King makes me cry every time I watch it. I'm a sucker for all the big moments and the emotional highs. It's the end game of Middle Earth for me. Two Towers is still my favorite, but
you're saying 5 armies isn't the end game of Middle Earth?
Don't
There's
talk to me.
So many armies, though.
It's got to be Return of the King. I do love Phantom Menace genuinely. I feel like I have so much fun watching it, but it can't overcome Return of the King.
Adam has street cred now for
Well, actually, you know what happened was I wish I could say I stole it. So when we were liquidating the stores, it was a great time, right? And there, like, all these DVDs were on clearance, so I bought the store copy of Return of the King for like $3 or something. Oh my God! Okay, all right. This happened on a show I was on last night. I was reviewing the Twister ripoff movie Tornado, and I still have the receipt. I still have the receipt for this movie from Hollywood Video with the dot matrix paper. And I paid $4.34 for this.
You should frame that.
Yeah,
I will.
Oh, all right. I'm going to let
rented-
you talk
That's
about.
a piece of history right there.
All right, talk about your love for Phantom Menace.
I just feel like I've been personally beat up right now. I've been left for last, and I've just been punched in the face like 700 times. Yeah. Look, Lord of the Rings is fine. Also, I just noticed it says Lord of the Kings on the screen.
Whoops! Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of bad spinoffs,
Return of the Ring. Yeah.
Lord of the Kings, Return of the King, nailed it.
Thanks, Taylor.
You're welcome.
The Nicholas Ray.
That's my
Jesus.
revenge. That's your revenge.
It's never
Look,
good.
like I objectively appreciate the Lord of the Rings films. I think they're beautifully shot, wonderfully acted. You know, all of the awards were there for Return of the King. Like, I get that. It's great. It's fine. That just doesn't mean anything to me. Like, objectively, I can appreciate Lord of the Rings movies, but they don't mean anything to me. Like, they don't. I saw them for the first time when I was like 20. I was like, all right, this is what's going to put me to sleep. So that's cool.
don't put Taylor in the corner.
I've never heard anybody say those words until right now, and I never.
Yeah,
You watch
Laura.
in real time. Me reacting to how much they hurt, like how much. They, like,
See, I sat here while we round robin. Everyone beat me up, so now it's my turn to fire back at everybody. Like,
Taylor is pissed.
I knew it was gonna be bad when she started out. I
Hit the
just
deck.
feel like you know it's gonna be brutal when it starts that way.
I'm going
You
through
know
it.
what? You fight what you believe in, even though it's a losing battle.
Look, this is me. Like, I'm surrounded by the 5 armies by myself alone, and I'm just shooting my shot. Okay?
And the werewolves.
Like, I know that I'm going down, so I'm just going down swinging. I'm taking everything with me.
We're proud of you.
We're all pushing, and Taylor says, "You shall not bow."
No, Taylor's officially like the King Leonidas of
Yeah,
this
I don't know if she understands that reference or not.
This is
Did you get that reference?
So look, I need to say my piece here because like
We all the three.
because I feel like I have so many moments like this that are awaiting me in the bracket. This is just the first one where I'm like, all right, punch number 1,
Speak your truth.
log it. Yeah. Honestly, like, objectively, I know that Lord of the Rings Return of the King is a better movie. It's better made, it's better acted. You know, it's better. I get that. But for me, if I'm going to pick one to put on, like, I will put on The Phantom Menace every time. Like, I just will. Like, I know that it's not the better movie. I know that. But I don't care. Like, I don't care. I will put on The Phantom Menace, and I will enjoy all the bad effects and the Federation talks and all of the nonsense, and I will listen to the score, and it will give me goosebumps, and I will have a great time. So there's my piece.
We'll support
There's
you
my
every
piece.
step of the way.
You earn nothing but my respect for being true to you, Taylor.
So she picks
See, a lot of
Otagunga
people
over
wouldn't have done that. They would have just been like, "Yeah, I'll pick Lord of the Rings," and they'll move on. But no, you stuck to your convictions. So that's well done.
Thank you,
Okay,
everybody.
well done.
Thank you.
I want to ask Taylor a question. Would you
Yes.
rather visit the Shire or Otagunga?
Ooh, I mean, we could pop over to the Shire right now if we wanted. I mean,
That's true.
I don't know if
That's
we
true.
can anymore. I think
Good
they've
for
closed
you.
the bubble.
Good
That's
for
not what I'm
20-hour
talking
drive.
about.
Yeah, we can.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Don't rub the
technically, I should
Shire in
probably
our
pick.
faces.
I should probably pick the Shire because, like, we could pop over to it
Yeah.
if we wanted. Really.
When I was there, they told me that I got to be a hobbit because I'm tiny.
That's so cute.
Do they give you feet to wear?
Actually, I just use my own real feet.
They're hairy and
I did 20 years of ballet. My feet are disgusting looking.
I thought you were just gonna
They're
say
full of
brought
scar
my own.
tissue and like surgical marks and stuff. Like they've been cut up and sewn back together a bunch.
It's all
All
good. My
right.
feet are quite flat, so they would
All right,
probably
where
be
are we
pretty
going
good.
next? Am I getting punched in the face again? Let's go.
I don't think so. No, this one's
You're
a
like
nice
Rocky.
palate
You just
cleanser.
keep getting
for
back
everyone.
up again, though,
let
Taylor.
Taylor
You
go
don't
first
ever
next
go
time.
down.
This one's a nice palate cleanser. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, or Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. Taylor, I'm just going to let you.
Well, I
like-
don't have anything passionate to say about this.
That's fair.
Like, you can start me off, but it's going to be very anticlimactic compared to the rant that I just went on.
Oh no.
I mean, yeah, I really don't have much to say about this, to be perfectly honest. I have a lot of fun with Secret of the Ooze. I'm gonna vote for mutated dandelions. So that's where I'm going.
All right. Marisol, I haven't gone to you in a while. Where are you heading?
Cool. Here's my first like silly nonsense reasons of the night why I choose what I choose. This one's simpler for me. I think I had this reasoning the other week too. So you don't get to judge me because they're my reasonings and it makes sense in my head. But Dead Man Tell No Tales versus a movie that I haven't seen yet. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing yet, Secret of the Ooze, that I've heard nothing but nostalgia and fondness from the people that have. And I've got to hear this mythical turtle rap of which these fellows speak.
Did you just see Mara's pupils grow? Like,
so would I rather? I had a similar reasoning last week. Would I rather just like take a shot and just watch Secret of the Ooze for the first time, or sit through Dead Man Tell No Tales again for like 2 hours and like whatever, like 25 minutes? Yeah, I'm gonna take a shot and I'm gonna watch Secret of the Ooze. So I'm gonna take Secret of the Ooze.
I dig that. That is fantastic.
I dig that. I can live with that. All right, Mara, where are you heading? I think I know.
I would be betraying everything about my childhood in this matchup with the Pirates movie where no one was trying anymore versus the movie where they got new and improved turtle costumes.
Was still trying.
Jeffrey Rush was still trying.
Jeffrey Rush is always great. You're right, but they got new and improved turtle costumes with little like freckles on their snouts now, and they got Ernie Reyes Jr. out of the costume for Donatello, and he got to be a human being on screen because he's so good at martial arts. Like, again, Taylor said dandelions, big fan of those. You've got a wrap. Is there more to donuts with like medicine inside of them? I don't know why the QAnon people haven't been talking about how they're vaccinating us through donuts because of this. So like it's 100% QAnon vaccine donuts. It's Secret of the Ooze.
I love Mara's like full in on the rap, and I'm like, but have we considered the mutated Dan? Like that's my point every single time. I'm just like, look, guys, come on.
Jesse, where are you heading?
So this is objectively, it's supposed to be like the best, like we're trying to find out the best geek movie, right? Best comic geek movie, not your favorite, right?
It's up to it's literally completely up to
Don't say that. Tell me what we're doing. Because
there's no some movies for this reason. You just have to pick which one this is.
Yeah, you have
to
pick
this or this.
Taylor literally just picked Star Wars because of her heart, not her head.
I literally went, I'm not picking the objectively better film, so I don't know what to tell you, Jesse.
Okay,
there is no wrong answer as long as it's your right answer.
I guess I don't know if the animated TMNT is on this list or not, but if it's not,
it is.
Oh, well, all right. Well, all right. That didn't make it easier. I was going to say that for me, this is, especially after we eliminated the 90s original Turtles movie, this is the only one that stands a chance to make it any further because I have such a fond nostalgia love. This is one of the first VHSs I wore out, and I quite enjoy Dead Man Tell No Tales. But I can watch Super Shredder, Toka, and Razor just every day, forever. And then they like put that thing into place where they're like, oh, it's too violent for kids. We can't use real weapons anymore. So Michelangelo has to beat people up with sausage links. And I'm like, it's just more entertaining. It's more special. There's something very special about it. And if this was Curse of the Black Pearl versus Secret of the Ooze, no contest, I'm giving it to Black Pearl. But I got to pick my Turtle Boys at least once.
All right. Adam, where you going?
I hated it.
So I just got to say, I love how Jacob this whole time has been like, oh, no, I'm going to sleep on the couch. And then he's like, but this bag of hammers next to me actually picked Phantom Menace over Return of the King. Like, what a dolt. Like, I mean, she had her reasons, man. She had her reasons.
That's what I was meaning, though. That she picked it with her heart. She said, I with my head, Lord of the Rings, heart, Star Wars. So I was going, it was the perfect illustration.
Can we be mad at anything he says when he has an accent? I mean, come on.
No, and that's
That's how I tricked her to come here.
I'm gonna be right back. Lauren's holding down the fort.
Okay.
Oh no.
Be chaotic, baby. I love you.
So Dead Men
That
Tell
is
No
some
Tales.
great relationship support. Be chaotic.
Yeah. So with Dead Men Tell No Tales, I said last week, I saw this way after it came out, and because I had incredibly low expectations, I thought it was better than I expected. Not great, but watchable. But yeah, Secret of the Ooze, like many, it was formative for me. Something I haven't mentioned with all this Ninja Turtles talk is in the early 90s, I don't know if anyone else experienced this, but there was a traveling musical act based on the Ninja Turtles. And it was like a hired band that would dress up in the Ninja Turtle outfits, and they would play like rock music in random towns across the United States. And I got to go to one of those concerts in the early 90s. I was like 6 or 7 years old. And it was just that cemented my fandom for the Turtles. So by the time the second movie came out, it was a fever pitch. And when I was younger, Secret of the Ooze was my favorite Turtles movie by a landslide because it's made for kids. And those of us who grew up with it and loved it really cling to that. But it's also got so many funny moments. Ernie Reyes Jr., like Mara said, getting to see daylight in it was nice, and it also gave us surf ninjas, so you got that, going for it as well. But yeah, Secret of the Ooze is my pick. I wouldn't always pick Kevin Nash over Paul McCartney in terms of cameos, but I do have to say Secret of the Ooze is my vote.
All right. Lauren, I haven't gone to you.
This one isn't personal. I just haven't seen it. I still haven't. We were gonna watch Secret of the Ooze this week.
I just realized this is the fifth one.
What?
I thought it was Dead Man's Chest. Too many dead men.
No.
I still stand by what I said.
Okay. We were gonna watch it. We ran out of time. So it's not personal. I am gonna pick Jeffrey Rush and Paul McCartney. If nothing else for that wig he wore, it was so bad in the best way. I just haven't seen the other one, so it's not personal. Sorry.
That's fair. And with that, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles does move on. All right, we are over halfway through the show at the moment, so that's awesome, guys. Let's go to our final two from round two. We have Back to the Future 2 versus The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. Smaug.
I want you to talk about this one.
Okay.
I want you to talk about this one.
Okay, fine. I will. All right.
We don't get to hear much from you, but I want to hear you talk about this one.
Okay, so Desolation of Smaug is my favorite of the Hobbit movies. I said that last week and eliminated Ant-Man because of it. And I think Back to the Future 2 is fun, but is the one that has aged the worst out of the three because it's fun, but it has no story. It's just things that happen to Marty. Because they didn't know that they were making a trilogy. So against my better judgment, and Back to the Future Part 2 is fun, but I have I just enjoy The Hobbit, and so I'm going to go Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug. Adam, where are you on?
Well, throw it right in my face, why don't you? Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, this is a little tough. As I said, I actually like the Hobbit movies more than most because it's Middle Earth, and it's just more of that world, and I'm here for it. And Desolation of Smaug is the strongest of the three. I would agree, but Unexpected's underrated. I love the Back to the Future trilogy. Back to the Future 2, I understand where you're coming from, Jacob, but at the same time, the thing I like about it is at that point in time, a movie hadn't put that much fun, creative thought into a time travel story as Back to the Future Part 2. And they had to sit down and map this out. And yeah, like it's been negated by, actual scientists. Like we understand that. It's a fantasy. But the thing I love about it is it simplifies the idea of these timelines. and it gets to the root of the theme of the trilogy, which is, you know, messing with the past and coming back and seeing reaping what you sow. And frankly, the Almanac storyline has been imitated in so many movies since without people even realizing it, because that is the ultimate MacGuffin time travel like blockbuster movie, because that almanac screws up everything. And we've seen so many time travel stories since that hinge on that same MacGuffin plot point. And I think Back to the Future Part 2 really codified that particular storytelling device. I think it's a really fun movie. Even though it does go back to the Future Part 1, and some people see that as a negative, I like that. I like seeing it from a different perspective. And Back to the Future Part 3 is a really nice decompression chapter for me, which is why that trilogy functions so well for me as a whole. So Desolation of Smog is, I think, has more breathtaking spectacle to it, and it's got a greater sense of scale, and the score is incredible. But Back to the Future Part 2 I have seen more times than I can count, and it made me love movies more. So that's why I picked Back to the Future 2. I'll be short the next one, I promise.
That's all right. Mara, what are you picking?
I'm not going to belabor the point, because I think that I spoke at length last week about that I just don't love Back to the Future 2. I don't hate it, but I don't really feel a strong connection to it. And I don't really love rewatching it when I do for the Schmodown. It's fine. It just didn't grab me for some weird reason. And I can completely objectively appreciate every single amazing thing that everyone says about it. Like, I don't disagree with any of it. It just doesn't like grab my spirit. But I'm also a Hobbit defender. I'm not going to say that all of them are great, but I think that there's a lot of good things that are in there, even in the worst of them, which is the last one. But I do have to say that this is the strongest of that trilogy. And just for me personally, Back to the Future 2 is the weakest of that trilogy. So I'm going full Smaug.
Okay. Lauren, where are you heading?
We're just going to keep doing this 50-50. I'm going Back to the Future. It resonated with me more. Jesse and I were listening to some of the score on our little road trip this weekend. It's so good. It's so good. It's fun and upbeat.
Sylvester, baby.
Yeah. I don't know. I really love Middle Earth, like an unhealthy amount, but I really struggle with the Hobbit movies. They just did too much. And I think Back to the Future has a special quality that stuck with me since, the first time I watched it. I think it's just a fun movie. There's just so many like whimsical aspects about it, and I just prefer that over the bloatedness that I think is the Hobbit movies.
Okay. Jesse.
So I think everybody would disagree with part of the statement, maybe, but for me, both of these films are respectfully the strongest in their trilogy, personally for me. That's not by a lot. I know that Back to the Future 1 is like a masterpiece and everything, but just like Lauren said, it resonated with me as a child, and growing up, it was the one I watched the most. It was the one I had the most fun with. And that's what the Back to the Future trilogy is about for me. It's fun. It's entertainment value. I think Back to the Future 2 is a better version of a self-contained sequel than I know they revisit stuff from 1, but Desolation of Smog has so much leading into it, and it leads you on such a blatant cliffhanger. Like, it's called The Desolation of Smog. What do we not get to see in the movie? The Desolation of Smog. We don't get that until the next movie. So Back to the Future 2, you get what is advertised. It is the second Back to the Future. There's no false advertising there. And I can't base it off of composers, because you have Silvestri and Howard Shore, and they're just all over the place. So that's a wash. That's a complete wash. So I just got to base it conceptually on how I feel inside about these movies when watching them, and I give Back to the Future 2 the slight edge.
Technically, prior to this movie, we did see the desolation of Dale. We just didn't see the desolation of Lake Town.
You know what? That's a fair argument.
It's not an argument. It's just it's a well, actually, not an argument.
All right, Marisol, where are you going?
Yeah, get Alex Damon in his shirts. Actually shirts.
This is another goodie. This is another matchup of two good movies, like two more than good movies. Two second movies in a trilogy, so I think it's a really fair matchup. And that context makes it very unique and difficult to judge and less obvious to judge. Look, Desolation of Smaug is the best of the three. I think that's a common opinion. I know there's some people who feel differently, but I think it's a common one, and it's absolutely true. It is the most iconic, the most memorable. Smaug gets the job done. It's the best of the three. But the 80s were on fire with sequels, and we were seeing blockbuster sequels come to life in the 80s in a way because I was there. But I read things, so I talk about, because I read what people who were there, I talk about them as if I were there. But we were seeing things that we hadn't before, especially with blockbuster sequels that were getting leaner, meaner, darker, and expanding the worlds. Empire Strikes Back, even Temple of Doom, Superman Part 2, Back to the Future Part 2. Everything was blockbuster sequels were taken off. The standard was being set. And Back to the Future Part 2 is so narratively kinetic compared to the first one, which is an absolute masterpiece and a classic. But taking that what if, I don't think, of all the sequels that I named, I don't think any of them did it as well as Back to the Future Part 2, of just like taking this amazing original movie, taking this amazing concept and just like, what if this happened? What if this happened? And just like going bigger and badder and expanding on it. And I will admit, because I saw this when I was quite young, so like that is that's where it locks into your brain, like it just latches on. And it was spectacle of the highest order for me when I was a kid. I still love the first one. The first one is my personal favorite of the trilogy. But 2 is just 2 is one of the most exciting, is exciting in its own way for me to rewatch because of the frantic time travel, all over the place time travel. And because I know you were saying it was like a negative, Jacob, but like there's so much that happens, and that's exciting. When that will be very impressionable on you when you're young. There is so much that happens. It is less like narratively like singular than 1 and 3. There is so much that happens, and yeah, like Adam was saying, that's what you want out of a time travel movie. Like that's like Pandora's box in a time travel movie. That is fulfillment in the best order, in the highest order, and the highs of Part 2 are higher than the highs of Desolation of Smaug for me, even though I think it is absolutely the strongest Hobbit movie. So when I judge the two together, I would want both of them to stay ultimately. But when I judge the two together right against each other, I'm going to go with Part 2, Back to the Future.
All right. Taylor?
Do I need to contribute?
I mean, Back to the Future Part 2 will go through.
Yeah, so it's
okay.
I gave you my turn.
Okay,
because
fair
I
enough.
didn't really have much to say about this.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we're on to the last of round 2, and this one I think is this could actually be a very tough one after last week. The Crow versus Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. I am going to start with Mara because I think you're the one who's actually watched this movie the most recently out of everyone here. So
I watched it right after we were finished with the show last week. And then you know what I started watching next? Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I watched it twice this week.
Yeah.
Which is so funny too, because people are like, I literally don't get paid any money to do anything, but they all like, I'm lumped in with the Marvel shills, and it's like, come on. But this is actually really tough. The Crow, I think it's a legit good movie, even if it hadn't had the terrible tragedy. I think it's a good movie. I do think that for some people, it kind of enrobes it in like an even darker, deeper fit of depression, which I personally love in filmmaking. I love just feeling like you're wrapped in a cold, dark blanket of nihilism. But I just cannot possibly get over. Need I list them? Need I list them? You got Batman. You got super sexy Alfred. Superman is still there too. Lois Lane, I still contend that she's aging gracefully and that she's a very lovely, beautiful woman. I'd be okay with that. Wonder Woman, just Wonder Woman theme. Wonder Woman, all of her those boots that they make look like they're just flat shoes, but they're actually a wedge. So that way she has her shapely buttocks. Like it's just all of it. Total sploosh. Moisture Farmer has arrived. Done.
All right. Taylor, where are you going?
Oh, you're gonna make me follow that?
Yeah, I'm gonna make you follow that.
I mean, I don't really know if there's much else to add, to be perfectly fair. I mean, I explained on the stream last week that I'm not the biggest Dawn of Justice fan in the world, but I do really appreciate the music, and in getting the director's cut, the ultimate cut that we got, I appreciate it a lot more. But you know, the Crow has its own merits for so many reasons. This one is definitely a tough one, just because it feels like an even matchup in the most uneven ways. Like they're very, very different movies, but they both just have so many great things going for them. Look, at this point, just because, like, if I try to do this any other way, I'm going to go down, like, this hole that I'm never going to get out of trying to, like, figure out which one to pick. We're going with Dawn of Justice just for the moisture factor, just for the hot cast of hot casts. We're going with Dawn of Justice.
All right.
Brandon Lee is a beautiful man.
He is. Yeah, very beautiful.
Agreed.
Oh
yeah.
So is
Marisol, where are you going with this one?
This isn't necessarily a case of like an extremely weaker movie. Both solid movies here. For me, I've talked about before about the place. I contextualize The Crow by thinking about what it did for comic book movies. I have more admiration for it than direct enjoyment of it. It's more of admiration and looking at it in the context of everything, and giving some serious weight, and telling a very, very depressing and serious story in a genre where, you know, it was mostly just like heroic, triumphant stories, a character with a lot of pain and a lot of tragedy in the forefront of a comic book adaptation. I think was a really solid step forward for the kind of stories, well, as we saw mostly in the 90s, of the kind of 90s were the dark place for a lot of dark horse comic book adaptations in the 90s. I don't mean literally dark horse comics, but you know what I mean. But giving The Crow its respect and its place. I'm biased. I lean hard towards Batman, Superman. I'm kinder on that movie. I will defend that movie. I've been very clear before. I'm a defender of it. And Snyder in particular, his take on these films, with Dawn of Justice in particular, I think it was such a huge gamble. And I think it's just so thematically thorny and visually luscious. And I think it's really, it's such an engrossing movie for me to watch. Even the theatrical version, Ultimate Cut, just gets even better for me. Absolutely, I'm still there and captivated and sold in the original version. This is a fascinating, dark place, a messy place. I will follow my superheroes to messy places all the time. All the time. And I think that both films really go into that really deep, ugly, dark corner of being an Avenger and what are you fighting for, and what is motivating you in terms of when it comes to our heroes or anti-heroes. But I think that Batman Dawn of Justice has more of the grandeur and the epicness and the technical precision, just excellence, to bump it above The Crow. And I would watch that one again first, and I really, really love it. It's filled with characters that I'm closer to. So that's my pick, Dawn of Justice.
All right. Lauren, I'm going to go to you.
Okay, I did half my homework. We listened once again to the score. I think Mara and I should just have one of these where we debate scores because I could do that all day. The score was a little 50-50 for me.
I also can do this all day.
I think like most relationships, Jesse and I really love to share with each other things that are special to us that the other one hasn't seen. And The Crow was something that affected me like instantly. I was like, yes, this is good for me. This is good for me. And like I said last week, Batman versus Superman hurt my feelings. I just can't get over the lack of logic that Bruce has. That's not how my Batman does it. And I'm sorry. I'll rewatch it and give it another shot. Basing on half my homework, I still have to go with The Crow. I'll be less harsh on it this time, but it's still The Crow because Brandon is, he's a moist guy.
That's a moist movie. There's a lot of rain, but it can't rain all the time.
Yeah.
Adam, I'm going to go to you.
Forgive all the show and tell tonight, but that's
nice.
Yeah, so this is a beautiful, beautiful version of the original comic.
That's really cool.
That's nice.
And when I watched this movie, not only was it very formative, it made me seek out the source material. And I've rebought it over the years. It's my more recent copy because I wore out my original one, or I lost it, rather. And that first film, it's not a perfect movie. But what I love about it is it was this organic evolution to 1989's Batman, an R-rated comic book movie that wasn't R-rated just arbitrarily. It was an adult story. It was a very sad story. And I think ultimately The Crow resonates with me, just because it's very, frankly, for lack of a better term, Edgar Allan Poe-y. I like that about it. And I like that it's an action movie on top of that. There's so much interesting iconography in The Crow that I love. And I defended Batman versus Superman last week. I got it through to this round, guys. I did my job. I own the Blu-ray director's cut. Don't at me. I like it more than most people. I do. And I do think the thirst is real. And I think we're going to get to keep talking about that thirst through next week because it's probably going to win. But that's why I had to support my friend Eric and wish him well. And read the comic if you haven't, because it's very moving.
Jesse, are you going to tie this up, or are you going to end it with Batman vs Superman?
So here's the fun thing. I, at this moment right now, haven't decided. This entire time I've been quietly stewing.
Talk it out, baby. Talk it out.
I'm going to do my best. So my first instinct that surprised me is I was like, Batman v Superman, no matter what cut it is, as much as I enjoy the Ultimate Edition, is loaded with issues to varying degrees. And to me, for what it is supposed to be and when it came out and everything, I find The Crow to be, maybe it's nostalgia blinding my eyes, but a perfect film in what I want a Crow movie to be. I have nothing I would change about it. I think it's just unique and whole, complete, tells its story, and it does such a great job doing it. The mood with the music is all very well done. The acting's top notch. It's quotable. It's depression in a bottle. Use it again. I love that the blanket of nihilism, I think, is now my new favorite quote from Mara. Beating out moisture just by a tick. And then I started looking at like, okay, what wins over, like the highs of each movie or the lows of each movie. And I think Dawn of Justice has higher highs than The Crow, but it also has lower lows. And so that didn't really help me. And so every time I went to try to put the movies against each other, it wasn't helping me get any further. There's more points to be had, but I'm running out of them. So I guess I am a bigger Batman fan than a Crow fan, and that's all I got. That's all I got for trying to tie it up. Because
Whoa!
So, Dawn of Justice,
ladies and gentlemen,
quietly
Batman,
the hardest one.
Definitely going Crow.
Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice has just knocked the Crow out.
I don't feel good about it.
Jesse, you've been disinvited from my watch along to the Brandon Lee Dolph Lundgren classic Showdown Little Tokyo. You're not gonna
you had to invite me before uninviting me.
Yeah, well, I was Hey Swift, I was gonna do the big reveal later, but you ruined it.
All right. We have 6 matchups left. Let's
do it.
Let's do it. First up,
I'm getting sweaty.
Batman Returns versus Avengers Infinity War. Jesse, I'm going to start with you because you got a Batman to go through the last one. Are you going to keep him here or knock him out?
So Batman Returns is a fun movie. Avengers Infinity War is as close to a masterpiece as that film could have been, I think. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to spread it out. It's just Infinity War for me.
All right, Adam.
It's harder for me personally.
I didn't say,
but no, it's hard for me because like between the 2 Batman movies that have made it thus far, Returns is still my pick. But Infinity War, it's a cultural event. Like what can I say? Like I love rewatching this movie. And even though I grew up with Batman Returns and I've watched it a lot, I think Infinity War may have already caught up with it. So it's with great pain that I will say Infinity War.
Wow. All right. Taylor, I'm going to go to you.
Cool. So I'm picking Batman Returns as my pick. I think Jacob just had a heart attack. Look, last time we talked about Infinity War, I talked about how much it is a cultural phenomenon. They took so much time to build up to it, and we got an emotional payoff from it that I very much appreciate as someone who's been along for the ride the whole time. But looking at it, I have to pick Batman Returns because I haven't rewatched Infinity War really ever, I don't think.
We've done it once.
We've done it one time.
Wow.
I love the movie, but to me, I don't want to keep going back to that gut punch of a moment as much as I feel like I probably should. So I haven't gone back to it. And Batman Returns is just aesthetically everything that I'm about. Like I talked about when we brought up Batman Returns last time, the world building, the look of Gotham City, the costumes, the way the movie's shot. It's very kooky. It's got very charming acting, and it's a movie that really made me appreciate Batman more as a character. Just I enjoy Batman, but he's never really been my favorite. But watching Tim Burton versions of these characters really brought me a new appreciation. So I'm picking Batman Returns.
Wow. Okay. Lauren, I'm going to go to you.
That was shocking, but I respect it. If it was 89, we'd have a fist fight, I think.
One of those is in my top 5.
I know, yeah. 89 hit different. But I feel yucky about this one, let me just say. This one was not cut and dry for me.
Do you feel like penguin puke about it?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I have rewatched Infinity War many, many times. I think that is ultimately my choice, but I feel yucky about it. I don't like this one, Jacob. I don't like it. I'm not happy about this one.
We're getting to tougher choices. We're definitely getting tougher choices. Marisol.
Yeah, actually, this was when I first saw this matchup. I was like, ooh, this is gonna be really tough. And then 2 minutes went by and I was like, this isn't tough at all. Infinity War is one of the most impactful movies in I have to say the whole MCU for me. And when I said that, I realized it's because I have to say the whole MCU when I think about it, because its power and its potency as a film and its impact as a film only exists in the context of the MCU. I asked myself, and I'm looking at it objectively, I'm like, where does this film stand as a standalone? How would I assess this film if I just watched it one day? What would I think about it in terms of superhero films and what it does for the genre? Where its power lies is in the 10 years of buildup to this film. And that's why everything matters the way it does in this film. Do I think it stands on its own and has enough potency? Obviously there's a lot of drama in it, but what does it mean? How does it one-off impact me as a film watcher? Like, how does it hit me? And it's really difficult to pull it out of that context when you've watched everything that could possibly have to do with it. But then I thought about it and I was like, wait a minute. And then I looked at Batman Returns and I was like, this film, I was like, wait, what would the comparison be? And I was like, Batman Returns is a comparison. Like, that is a film that no matter what, I don't even have to watch anything related to Batman. I don't have to watch a single damn other Batman film to sit down and watch Batman Returns and be like, this is awesome. Like, this is sucking me in. This is a complete start to finish narrative. This makes sense. This is contained. This is iconic. Like Taylor, you were saying, like, there's so much to mine from it. There's so much to appreciate from it. It's weird. Like, it's almost unique in some of these matchups. This is how I'm having to break it down. Like, this is something that I didn't think about in the other matches, but I'm now thinking about it in this one. When it comes to it, I think that Batman Returns works, has more staying power and works and is more iconic and memorable, and did this before without the aid of a cinematic universe engine. Created this stellar comic book film that we still talk about today, that we still talk about 30 years later. I think that does edge it out and give it a lot of weight over Infinity War, even though I really like both. I like them for different reasons, but in the long run, I will always go with Batman Returns.
Wow. Okay. Mara, are you tying it up or are you ending this?
No.
That's fair. We've got our first broke. All right, our first one is broken.
I'll admit it. I think this one, like, there have been others that were playfully difficult, but I think this one is legitimately difficult because I think you have to balance not nostalgia, but impactfulness based on age and how you see something. Like, for example, I was that kid where I was like, I want to puke up and spit up what Penguin spits up. Like, that movie spoke to me so much. And against Infinity War, if this were at least probably 6 to 10 other MCU movies, I would easily pick Batman Returns and it would just be a no-brainer. It's just such a tough choice when it's Infinity War because the aesthetic is completely different. The tone is completely different. The relationships between the characters are examined in totally different ways and they go in different directions. And I had to think about it in terms of when I watch them again, which one generates a stronger emotional response? Because unless it's a movie about an animal, it's very hard to get a human emotional response out of me because I empathize with the plight of animals more than people. And I would say that I just get excited, like viscerally excited when I watch Infinity War. And I'm not saying that makes it a better movie, but because there's not a specific metric of like objective quality of filmmaking or film composition, writing, etc. Because there's a very nebulous way that we're deciding this. I'm gonna pick Infinity War, but it pains me dearly to have to choose between them. It really, really does.
That's fair. And with that, Batman Returns, it had a good run, but it has unfortunately been eliminated. I am just
Please don't tell Dan.
A round of applause for Batman Returns.
Yes.
I just want you to know that if you thought you were getting the couch, you get the car. You get to go sleep in the car. You don't get the couch.
You get the whole Outback, Jacob.
Oh man.
I'm glad I was able to save you from that.
Oh man. All right. We now have a little bit of a palate cleanser, I think. I think we could all agree. I think this could be a 7-0. Daredevil versus Doctor Strange.
Okay. Well,
Think this could be a 7-0. So if we just want to make this one fairly quick, Adam, where are you going?
I was just thinking about it. That's all. I still can't vote for the Rankin Bass Return of the King.
That is fair.
Ship has sailed.
Okay. All right. So Doctor Strange. Daredevil. Good night.
Jesse.
so actually, when you throw the director's cut in there, still Doctor Strange.
Lauren.
Should we just do a show of hands? Should we just vote now?
I'll go real quick.
It's easier math for Jacob.
It's Doctor Strange.
Mara.
Well, I could say this. This has two careers that my parents wish I had pursued instead of nuclear engineering. And trust me, they really, really, really wish I had been a doctor. So I'm going to go with what parents wanted me to be, Doctor Strange.
Marisol?
Yeah, so I think the clear pick is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah.
Wait. It's not there. Thanks, assholes. Okay.
And I took that personally.
That is fair. That is so fair.
Okay,
I am also going to vote for Chamber of Secrets. Thank you.
I'm sparing you from having to pick Chamber of Secrets versus the movie that just made it through last time. So that's what I spared you from having to do.
Fair. Okay, that's fair. 110% Doctor Strange.
Can I just say that Chamber of Secrets would have beat Daredevil? Like, do I get some points?
Jesse, you are a man. You get no points. Men do not get any points here.
I'll drink to
Taylor,
that.
I'm assuming it's
Chamber of Secrets, done.
Okay, all right. Doctor Strange makes it through. All right, we are now on to this one. Okay, this one's on the surface is easy, but it's a heartbreaking one, and we are talking Lord of the Rings: Return of the King versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze. Lauren, I'm going to let you go first.
I'm answering the call of Gondor. Sorry, turtles.
Taylor.
Mutated dandelions. That's my answer. I'm here solely to be the agent of chaos. If we've learned anything today, I am part of these streams to be the agent of chaos, apparently.
You're just going to find some way to kick Return of the King out.
It is my new mission, and I will fail spectacularly.
Adam.
I really want to see Grand versus Super Shredder.
Oh yeah!
I want to see that matchup. Super Shredder versus a battering ram. I mean, he lost to a deck, so I don't know. I spoke up about Secret of the Ooze already. It's a lot of fun. It's very sweet in its own way, but Return of the King is a timeless epic, in my opinion. And I vote for it to move forward. Please and thank you.
I just want to say, I'm voting against Return of the King because there's no way it's going to lose. If I thought this was a real contest, I would say Return of the King. Just so that everyone on the internet is aware.
You.
Marisol.
I do kind of wish this was Turtles 3, only so like the turtles could like travel to Middle Earth and just get like find themselves and like mixed up in like a band of orcs, like accidentally, like they could accidentally drop in and be marching off to war and wonder what the hell they're doing there. I think they would fit in actually better than they want to. But this is come on. This is even without seeing Secret of the Ooze. This is Lord of the Kings all the way.
Yes.
All right. Mara.
So first, I just have to say this. I didn't mention it before. I don't know what's going on with the mouth of Sauron, but I like it. But this is actually, it's sad. It's so sad. So turtles objectively kick all of the ass, but hobbits bow to no one. It's Return of the King.
All right, Jesse, you're gonna make this a 7-0 sweep. No, sorry,
Excuse me.
sorry, a 6-1 sweep. Wow, I'm
Taylor erasure. Okay.
6-1 sweep.
There's just way too many like great, amazing things going on in Return of the King, but there's also the world's most fearsome fighting team, and I have yet to be the true agent of chaos, and I think I'm going to lean towards nostalgia just at least once to make something out of it. So let's not make it a sweep. Secret of the Ooze. Let's not keep it a secret.
Thank
if you haven't
Jesse.
seen it, go watch it. Dandelions.
Yes.
TCRI.
This man is trying to piss me off.
Our last of the round 3 matchups. This could be an interesting one. We have Back to the Future Part 2 versus Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Well, I hope you libertarians had fun like throwing out your votes on that last one. Just don't do it on this one.
All right, Marisol, you may start. Where do you want to go?
Wow.
I'm kidding. I love you all.
I love you. You're vicious.
Well, we're getting to the nitty gritty with these
Gary
with these
Johnson
matchups. They're getting more. They're getting heated.
Yeah.
This one's really hard. This one's another hard one for me. These are two that you've heard me. You guys have been hearing me defend pretty emphatically. Both of these films. Both examples of everything I've said about a sequel getting, darker and what if with these possibilities, and thornier with the possibilities of where their characters can go. The uncertainties of making their characters make really weird, ugly, tough decisions. In both a whimsical sense and a super serious, somber sense. This hurts. I love both of these films. This is the hardest decision of the whole thing because I love both of these films. Love them. Not like, I love. But I am going to give the edge in terms of in the grand scheme of things, I'm going to give the edge what I think would move forward and do well moving forward, which has enough to go against some top dogs. I'm going to go with Back to the Future Part 2.
Ooh.
All right. Taylor.
This one's not very hard for me.
It's fair.
It's just not. I don't want to harp on it anymore. I'm not a Back to the Future person, so I'm just gonna give Dawn of Justice the vote, and we're gonna leave it at that.
All right. Lauren.
This isn't hard for me either. But in the opposite direction. I like all of Back to the Future 2 better than Batman and Superman stopping fighting because their mommies have the same name. I hated that. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
All right. Jesse.
Big DC fan coming at you here to say that I'm shocked that a time-traveling film from the 80s has a supreme level of logic compared to a comic book superhero movie from modern times. So Back to the Future 2, please. Thank you.
All right. Mara.
Well, I've already spoken at length that I just don't love Back to the Future Part 2. And I'll agree, it's a far more coherent movie. Like, just because it doesn't like make me excited to watch it, it's a far better film structurally, even if you include the Ultimate Edition, which I love. But this is a hard choice. And because I know it probably won't go anywhere, but I'm just going to stick with what is the hardest choice ever, like Alfred's abs, and go
Adam, I'm going to give you the deciding vote because I am also going with BVS. So, Adam, where are you heading?
He has the power.
Yeah, well, Masters of the Universe streaming on Netflix now.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a lot of fun, guys. It's fun
it is.
So far. Yeah, I'm having a good time. So I will give BVS its due one more time, just to say that it's a movie that grew on me with rewatches. So like it's the opposite of Interstellar. And yeah, no, seriously, like the first time I saw both of those movies, I liked Interstellar a lot more. And then when I rewatched them, they're like, it's just, that's what's happening. You get it. So BVS, I think is a misunderstood, kind of cool, messy superhero punch fest that I enjoy quite a bit. My biggest complaint with it, honestly, not so much the Martha stuff, which I know is an easy target, but like it's Doomsday. I don't like the Doomsday thing. That bothers me more than anything because I wanted Doomsday to have his own movie. I wanted that storyline to have more impact. I wanted to build up to it more. And rushing the death of Superman is what is my biggest complaint with BVS, because we hadn't gotten there yet. He'd been in one movie. And I still found it impactful because I care about Superman, but building up to it would have been nice. Maybe at least a third or fourth film. Back to the Future Part 2, I already went on ad nauseum about why I really love that movie. I went to the screening that was on October 21st, 2015, to commemorate, that future date from the movie. I love it. I just do. So it's my vote. But I do think BVS is a misunderstood Frankenstein monster of a DC movie, and I think it's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, with that, Back to the Future Part 2 makes it through. Guys, we have a very interesting...
I honestly think the better movie made it through, by the way, just because I didn't vote for it.
we do have a very interesting final four. So only 2 of these movies will make it through into the main bracket. So here are the 2 matchups, the final 2. We have Infinity War versus Doctor Strange.
Oh, honey.
Jesse, rip the Band-Aid off.
I have Doctor Strange cufflinks.
I love that's the most favorite thing I've ever heard you say in so much pain. I remember this time.
By the way, my eyes are sweating.
Those are called tears,
all
man.
Right, so here's my what do you call it? You get a prize, consolation prize, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that at least Steven is in. Hi, boy. Hi, my cat's down here. Steven's in Infinity War, so I can't really lose entirely. No matter who loses, Steven wins. Except for the fact that he didn't because he died. But with that, I love both these movies. One makes me cry when I watch it, and I guess that means that it should go through, and then I can cry about the one that didn't. There's gonna be a lot of tears.
So you're gonna cry no matter what?
I should just get off screen. Infinity War. Yeah.
Oh.
Avengers Assemble. Sucks.
Adam, where are you going?
Yeah, so Doctor Strange is a lot of fun. I think it's one of the better origin stories in the Marvel canon right now. But the thing I love about Infinity War, especially with respect to Doctor Strange, is he's so established in that movie that we get to see him just do his thing and see how clever he is with his magic. And even though he's technically outmatched against these other space wizards, like real space wizards, not like, I know we call Jedi space wizards, but like, let's be real. Like,
okay, Ebony Maw could kick some Skywalker ass for sure.
Yeah, and I just love his cape going ape shit in Infinity War on people. It's so wonderful. And then when he gets that big fight with Strange and Spider-Man and Iron Man and the Guardians with Thanos, I love that scene, even though it ends very frustratingly. We all know that. But I just love the way Strange engages Thanos in battle because he knows he has to be smart about it. He's so strategic. And I love how that's visually represented. Because we know if Thanos gets his hands on Doctor Strange, he can crush him like an egg. But Strange gets so clever with him. So in any case, Infinity War is my answer, but it's ultimately a Strange love fest in the end, to Jesse's point.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is. Mara.
This is very difficult. I'm I'm torn. I really am, because, for example, if this had been Avengers Endgame, it's Endgame every day.
Agreed.
I honestly don't really care any other MCU movie it was going to go up against, except for possibly The Winter Soldier, because I think that's overall my favorite.
Put that in the universe.
I just fell in love with you all over again.
You realize that the marriage license can say our names and it doesn't have to have him on it, right? That's
Jacob, fair warning to Jacob.
Give me
If
a
we
call.
get Winter Soldier and Endgame, I'm all the way out.
Oh yeah, no, I'm leaving.
All three of us are just gonna start crying.
I'm just gonna make sure that if it does happen, it's only in like the finals. So
I don't care.
No, it literally is like a Sophie's choice. That's like asking me which of my cats I love more, and there is no answer to that. Oh my god!
bring coins.
Choose between Mara and me.
But this is tough. Like I legit want. I'm a champion for Doctor Strange for all the reasons that I've already said, but I just have Infinity War is just such an accomplishment of structure and of strategy in its writing, because it could have been. Am I allowed to say a bad word? Can I say it?
Yeah, God, yeah.
It could have been a clusterfuck, like of epic proportions. It could have tanked 10 years of buildup in the MCU. I mean, it had everything. And just because Endgame was spectacular, if Infinity War had been, then no matter how good Endgame was, it would have fallen kind of flat, and it would have gone out with a whimper instead of with, just looking at it as one of the best fully formed cinematic universes that we may ever see in our lifetime. If the world exists after our lifetime, that is. But I hate not voting for Doctor Strange, and part of me wants to give it the pity vote, because as an individual picture, I think it has so much going for it. But I also agree that because of what that movie did, I can springboard that into loving how that character behaves in Infinity War and the steps forward that he's taken in between those two films that, we don't need to see that. And I'm going to die if Multiverse of Madness does not actually make me poop my pants, but I'm going to have to vote for Infinity War because it's just that much more better. And I hate saying it, but in this situation today, it is.
All right. Marisol, where are you going?
As great as both these films are, as great as they are, probably the least interesting part of Doctor Strange is figuring out how he got to the sandbox. It's once he gets to the sandbox and once he's playing around is what we're there for, is what the parts that really, where that film really takes off. And not only is he in the sandbox by the time we're in Infinity War, he's playing with the big boys. So I think that Infinity War then is the next, before we get to Multiverse of Madness, it's really comparing these two specifically side by side, when one of them is the origin story of a character and the other one is, well, here's what the character then did. It's really difficult to not pick the one where here's where then the character did. It's really hard not to pick that one. And on top of like the impact, one of the most dramatically impactful film in this whole series for me. So I definitely have to go with Infinity War. Still, again, we're down to the nitty gritty here. Thoroughly enjoy both of these movies. But since it's specifically, we're looking at it, filtering this specifically the context of Doctor Strange and his arc. I would rather see his arc in Infinity War and watch that film, because that's where he's really playing with his goodies. Yeah. But the original Doctor Strange.
And Lauren, where are you going?
I mean, I think we can all objectively agree Infinity War is the sexier movie, right? Like any scene with Wanda.
Define sexy.
Should we tell it's an
Steve Rogers definition.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers.
Yeah, and never undersell Benjamin Bratt.
Or Tilda Swinton with the bald cap.
I will say I think I enjoyed Doctor Strange more in Infinity War than I did in his own film. I thought it was
the Russos.
Yeah, I thought it was a great stepping stone, but like kind of watching him kick ass after watching how he learned how to kick ass was really satisfying. Yeah. There's just too many moments in Infinity War that are just too big. They're just too big. And Doctor Strange is a great film, but it's just too big. It has to be Infinity War.
Taylor?
Yeah, I don't think there's really anything else I can add to the conversation. So,
all right. And with that, we have our first official wild card winner. Ladies and gentlemen, Avengers Infinity War is the first wild card winner. All right. But we do have one other final matchup, and that is Lord of the Rings, Return of the King versus Back to the Future Part 2. Taylor, I'm going to start with you so you can bring in chaos.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much chaos there's actually going to be in this one. But, I mean, Return of the King made me cry. Back to the Future Part 2 didn't. So, Return of the King.
Okay. Going with Return of the King.
Just a different kind of moisture.
Eye moisture.
Marisol, where are you going?
Yeah, Return of the King. I mean, these are two films that I love, but you guys have heard me enough. Like Lord of the Rings are just my. There is, there's God for some people, I guess, and then there's Peter Jackson's Holy Trinity, and then for me, so I subscribe to the Kiwis trilogy. So, Return of the King.
Adam.
Just so I'm clear, the winner of this is not going up against Infinity War, correct?
No, both of these will go into their own individual brackets.
Relevant, Collins. Why are you asking so many questions?
No, that's So the winner of this one will go into the 8th bracket that we will be doing in several weeks.
Marisol, I did not mean to anger your bone.
It's okay. Just pick.
I'm sorry. Well, not because you pressured me, but I was going to say, I said a lot about Back to the Future Part 2 tonight. It's time to move on. Return of the King, again, is timeless to me, and I would pick it over Infinity War. That's why I asked.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how much I love this film. Spoken about them both at length, but Return of the King, it's an Oscar winner for a reason. Let's keep it going.
Mara.
I just gotta say, I don't like it when mom and dad fight. It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Anywho, only one of these films involves self-immolation, and I'm going to go with Return of the King.
And a Thor.
have I got Jesse? I haven't gone to you.
Back to the Future 2. I love it. Great nostalgia. Awesome film. It got as far as it needed to or necessarily should have, because if we look at the grand scope of this list of films, Back to the Future probably wasn't going to make it past the halfway mark, or Back to the Future 2 wasn't. So I'm happy that it beat out some people and that it got the respect that it deserved, because I think it gets poo-pooed on far too often. But every dog has its day, and the numbers are up. So it's Return of the King.
All right. And Lauren?
I mean, this is probably sacrilegious to say, and I may be struck down, but watching the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy is a religious experience. It's beautiful from start to finish, and Return of the King is no exception. Sorry, Marty, it's not you today.
McFly on out of here.
All right. And with that,
why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King becomes our second wild card winner, and we officially have our bracket of 256 movies. We're only 30. We are 30 down, 256 to go.
I'm up to the map. I'll see you in a month.
This is gonna take a while.
And I just have to say, Return of the King and Infinity War being wild cards is.
It's hilarious. Like the fact that I know I can fully appreciate that these guys. If we were doing this seeded, these guys would be like number one on each of their brackets. So no way in hell that these are.
But we are agents of chaos, and this was not seeded. This was
nope. This was let's go crazy. So with respect to the films that have been eliminated, we are talking, of course, Batman Returns, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990, Daredevil, Star Trek the Motion Picture, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Doctor Strange, Star Wars The Phantom Menace, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, Back to the Future Part 2, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, The Crow, and Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. God.
I can answer that.
They're getting married first.
41 days. 41 days. We will be getting married first.
Oh, definitely. You guys will be getting married first. Yes. Okay.
Can I ask what, because we just got that list, what's the biggest heartache that got left out? Because I think it's The Crow for me. Listening to that list back, I think that's the biggest ouchie.
Yeah, actually, let's go through. What's the biggest heartache? So Jesse's got The Crow. Mara, what's yours?
I mean, I honestly think it also might be The Crow. Just amongst what was said, that stood out to me immediately as well.
Tell.
I have two.
Okay.
One is, the one that I sat here and
defended,
just fired at everybody. Phantom Menace, but the other one that I think it shocked the world is Batman Returns. That one really freaking hurts me that didn't move on.
Not Chamber of Secrets?
I mean, the thing is, like, we have more Harry Potter films that are going to come up. I love Chamber of Secrets, but I also know that most people, that's not everyone's favorite. So that one wasn't like as heartbreaking. I kind of figured that was probably going to be eliminated because it's not super high on everybody's list. But
Adam,
it's, if I can say more than one, it's The Crow, Batman Returns, and Back to the Future Part 2. I would have liked to see those go deeper because I know there are some shitty films.
There's some really shitty films in these brackets.
And those three would kick the snot out of them for several rounds. So rest in peace, my friends.
Marisol?
Echo Chamber. BVS for me, that hurt the most, like choosing between BVS and The Crow, because I think they both deserve to move on. And neither of them are, and that's fine. But BVS, The Crow, and Back to the Future Part 2 for especially the reasons that Adam said. I know that they, like, whatever else is going to come in the bracket, I know that they are stronger than the majority of, I feel like, other films there's, that are going to come. So those hurt the most. Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets I can sleep with because it's not the best one. Like they're just like 5 other ones that are
got
just,
7
like,
others.
awesome. Yeah. Like there are just 5 other ones that are just awesome. And I like, I fought for it in the moment that I could, but like I could sleep. Okay, we'll let it go. There are so many other ones that are just stronger that I really want to see go further.
What about you?
So I was going to go to Lauren.
Oh, okay.
Am I the only one who's still thinking about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Fair enough. That is fair. That was from last week. For me, it's probably Desolation of Smaug. That's one I would have really liked to have gone through, and it would have been destroyed by Return of the King, but I would have really liked to have seen Desolation of Smaug go through. All right. Next week, we begin the official, proper, actual bracket with our first one. Here, it's not the bracket, but here are the movies inside this bracket. So over the next 2 weeks, we will find the number 1 movie out of these movies here. We have A History of Violence, Avengers Age of Ultron, Barbed Wire, Blade, Bulletproof Monk, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Conan the Barbarian, Darkman, Flash Gordon, Hercules, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Iron Man 3, I, Frankenstein, Incredibles 2, Judge Dredd, Jurassic Park, Labyrinth, The Matrix, Men in Black 2, Men in Black 3, Punisher Warzone, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, Superman 3, Sin City, Sin City 2, A Dame to Kill For, Solo, A Star Wars Story, The Terminator, Transformers The Last Night, Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Unbreakable, X-Men Apocalypse, and 300 Rise of an Empire. So that is next. That is the lineup of the next 2 weeks.
Can I just preface my nervousness by saying that I'm walking down the aisle to the Jurassic Park theme song, and that's where I'm at with Jurassic Park. So I'm like head to toe sweating.
Luckily, there's only one probably that would give it a run, I think.
Oh,
I'm nervous.
But I won't.
She may kill me on the. Oh, you may kill me. Actually, you may kill me.
Was that like a tease, or are you actually doing that?
No, I'm actually doing that.
Oh my goodness.
The Piano Guys version of it, I know it's already instrumental, but yeah, that's what I'm walking down the aisle to. So
Amaru, you say you know what's moving forward. I actually don't. Looking at this, I'm like, I don't know what's
Barbed Wire, man. Barbed Wire.
I thought you were in the Darkman camp, Adam.
Well, I am.
We might get some tailors.
Oh, Darkman is going to get some love, but I'm just saying, Barbed Wire, Jacob, go watch it. Tell me what.
I want to suggest that we get PJ Campbell on if we're going to talk Darkman. Putting it forward.
It's just sad that the
no, you get Mike
Grant is
Kalinowski
ineligible.
on here if you're going to talk about Darkman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
All
Darkman
right,
sequel
that's what you
being
get on
eligible
here.
is
Yeah.
a bummer.
Rocketeer, Darkman.
And Larry Drake is also in Dr. Giggles, which is a horror movie that had a comic book after the fact. But
if you would like, it's up to you.
I'm gonna give him a little bit of a tease over what some of these matchups are.
Keep it going.
Just a little bit. Just
I'm
save
scared
some.
that you're so excited.
Wait, do I give that one? Or is that a...
Save some that are big surprises.
I'll save a big surprise.
But you can give this.
I hate this already.
I'm so nervous.
I love this. I love being uncomfortable.
You love your blanket of nihilism.
Big one.
Yeah, I do. It's like it's got pokey things on it, so it's also uncomfortable.
Oh, hell yes.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yes.
Oh.
All right, and this is my biggest one that will absolutely get me murdered.
I don't see why any of you are laughing.
All right, so that's our Blunden Bancroft of the round. Way to go.
And ladies and gentlemen, with that, we will see you next week where I am more than likely going to be murdered. Guys, this has been absolutely incredible and so much fun. Thank you so much. I'm going to go through real quick. Adam, where can the good people find you online?
my Ed Eisenthor on Letterboxd and Twitter, and just started a show with Video Drew every other Saturday on her network called Why Are We Like This? I don't know, but watch to find out. We talked at length. We talked for an hour about the Twister ripoff Tornado starring Bruce Campbell and Ernie Hudson that was a TV movie. It's better than it should be, and it was all shot at the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. Go watch that episode. Thanks.
All right. Jesse and Lauren, where can good people find you guys online?
Well, sounds like possibly not the couch tonight, but we'll see. It's still up in the air. When she is not walking down the aisles of Jurassic Park, you can occasionally find her either on doing these. I mean, you can say.
I'm just here every once in a while. When Jacob and Taylor allow me to be. So.
And I'm on the Flick and Reel channel occasionally. I've taken a little bit of a hiatus because wedding prep, moving prep, so many things, moving pieces. But sometime in like September, I'll be back on a program. We might talk about What If between now and then on the channel. But yeah, follow us on Flick and Reel on YouTube.
All right. Thanks, guys. Marisol, where can they find you online?
Not many places, I'll tell you that. When I do pop up, sometimes I Twitter. Sometimes I tweet. Related to Schmodown. I'm not really on Facebook. I barely go on my Facebook. I'm on Letterboxd. I'm behind, but I've got to start logging some movies that I've watched. I've been watching a bunch of movies. I need to log them. You can find me on Letterboxd, and my Twitter handle are the same. It's Marisol_Mariah, MIRIAH. And also, this coming Saturday, I'm also playing Kevin Smith in a #1 contender match in the Schmodown. So you can also see if I have what it takes to beat a famous director. Okay. That's about to happen. So I hope I win. And I hope that everybody watches because I'm really excited. And that's going to get me one step closer to winning a belt. So check it out on the Schmodown Network.
Thank you, Marisol. And Mara, where can they find you online?
First of all, you could definitely beat him because he's not perfect. He made Cop Out. So there's that. Ouch. Sorry, Kevin. Anywho, I decided to do what Adam did, and I put my thing on the thing. So if you want to find me there, if not, I lurk in corners of the internet. I can fit easily in most overhead compartments, and you never know exactly where I will be and if I'm watching you.
Thank you, Mara, and we will see you next week. Guys, this has been a lot of fun.
Yes, it's been another great week.
Yep.
A lot of heartbreak, a lot of laughs. I have put links for everybody down in the description as well. If you find that easier to just click through and find people, there are some links down in the description. That's where you can find our stuff as well. Thank you guys so much to everyone who hung out in the live chat with us today. We had so much fun with everyone. We hope you had as much of a blast as we did and that you're excited for the preview that we gave you of next week of the chaos that's coming. So please join us again next week, guys, if you can. It's so much fun when we have you chime in with us. And with that, I think it's time to sign off.
All right.
We will see you next week.
Bye.